Welcome to Caching Waves. This is an Elliott wave update for XRP. I'm going to get into the micro time frames right down at this level, but just wanted to show you on the daily my expectation moving forward, and that is that we have a multi-year triangle. Now what that looks like idealized in Elliott wave terms is right here, this top left one. It's called a contracting triangle, and what you expect to see is a trend in one direction, then a 5-wave move as an ABCDE as per labeled, where we make lower highs and higher lows until we reach a point, and then we get trend continuation. Now it's important to note that these can only happen in fourth waves, B waves of a correction, or X waves. Okay, so this is what we're looking for. Now you can see our trend was all-time highs back here, and we had an A, B, C, D, E, lower highs, higher lows, reached our E wave point, and we get trend continuation. So what that means is we're expecting all-time highs in the future, as long as we hold above the E wave level at 38.23 cents, and invalidation of the triangle is below the C wave at 28.72 cents. So it appears we have completed. Your expectation is thrust in the continuation of the trend, and you can see we have that with a lot of volume, looking for all-time highs. Now we're going to talk about the smaller time frames here. Remember, we need to stay above 38.23, looking for 5-wave patterns. Now I have 2 counts I'm currently working on, and I'll show you what those mean. First of all, this is my bullish scenario where we have not yet completed our wave 5. I talked about this area I think last video. We were looking for a triangle here as long as we continue to drift sideways. And right now the 1-to-1 extension is up at 69.65 cents. Now if we look at the low from the E wave, we had a wave 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 nested 1-2s. We got our third of the third, got our fourth, fifth of the third. It came past the 2.618 extension, which means we got an extended third wave. Usually we just look for the 1.618. And at this point, we're looking for a 1-to-1 extension of wave 1 off of wave 4, right at that 69.65 cents. Now, my alternative is we actually completed back here. I can count it both ways. You can also see I took the trend line of wave 2 off of wave 4, extended off of wave 1, and should also extend this off of wave 3. That wasn't lined up there properly, just in case we get extended as well in this wave. So right now, in this idea, just looking for the 1-to-1, and then looking for a larger correction between the 382 and the 786. Ideally stay above the 61.8 retracement of the entire wave 1 up. So in Elliott wave terms, this all becomes a larger 1-2. We get a correction. Wave 2 is just a correction in mid-trend, and then we look for a larger version of this wave 3. If you see this as a larger version, 1-2, 1-2, looking for this third wave after to the upside. So that's scenario 1. And then I have my scenario 2. Scenario 2 is we actually completed over here. There's lots of evidence for that. One is the length of this correction, although triangles can go quite a bit of time, so that's not out of the normal range to get this up to 70 cents. Alternatively, I have this labeled as not a third 1-2 there, and we just got 2 nested 1-2s. Our third, this fourth wave becomes kind of an awkward looking triangle, but it fits, as you can see. And then we got our third here in blue, very short fourth compared to wave 2, which usually get longer wave 4s, and our fifth wave here. In this scenario, our wave 1 is complete, and this is becoming a flat. Now, when we look at flats, I'm going to show you our expectations. First is we can get an expanded flat. Now it's important to note where we start this correction for this ABC is right here. So that's our starting point. In an expanded flat, we're looking for a 3-wave move. This is our ABC. We're looking for a 3-wave move, which makes a higher high above the 5th wave, which would be something like this. And then we're looking for 5 waves down to complete our 1, 2. These are difficult corrections because we make a higher high. A lot of people like to buy breakouts and then it instantly reverses and we actually break the low again. It's a very confusing pattern to recognize unless you're prepared for it. And it takes out the longs and the shorts because a lot of people have stops right at the last pivot. And a lot of longs would have their stops at this A wave and get stopped out. So that's called an expanded flat. Next, we have a regular flat. Same pattern, a 3-3-5. Remember, we're starting from this area. Right there. And that becomes a 3. This would be most likely a combination, WX, ABC. And it's important to note in this scenario that the minimum requirement is just the 90% retracement of this A wave if you put on your fib tools. So anytime this is now valid as a flat and we can get 5-wave move down and break this A wave and then continue on with our 1, 2. Third flat is a running flat. Now these tend to happen in very bullish markets, especially when crypto gets moving. These are, in my experience and researching, in bull markets, these are the norm. We only get one pullback, what appears to be one pullback. In this scenario, again, we start from here. Why does that keep changing? We start from there. We get our 3, ABC. We get our 3. Again, this is most likely a WXY because that doesn't qualify as a diagonal. And in this scenario, we make a new high above the wave 5 labeled here. The normal area we look for is the 1.236 and the 382 extension of this A wave. If you put on those fib levels, invalidation level is above the 1.618 at 70.069 cents. Now in this zone, remember it can happen anytime we break that wave 5. We don't have to come to there. But if you have a completed 5-wave here and this becomes an ABC and we start to sell off, that's an early indication. But after this, we get a 5-wave move down, target the 1-to-1 extension of wave A off of wave B whenever that hits, but we do not come and retest this A wave low. We just make a sideways correction and take off. That is currently my bias for XRP, that we get that. The running flat. Now, important to note, wherever this B wave ends, if we come up to that level, we're targeting the 1-to-1 extension of wave A off of wave B for wave C. In the expanded version, expanded flat, we usually look for the 1.618. That's where we drop below. But it's important to follow the patterns. And if you see a micro 5-wave move down off that high and then a sideways correction, chances are we're getting that move to the downside. So you got to count the waves and track in real time. All right, so that's what I'm looking for, guys. Looking for XRP to make this C wave, rather if it's from here or up a little bit higher. As high as I'd want to see is 67.97 cents. I don't want to break above that 382. And alternatively, we get to 69.65. If we break up to that level, I would assume this is the correct count, and then we're looking for our ABC. All right, guys, that's it for XRP. Let me know if you like the new format where I show you what I'm looking for in idealized Elliott wave terms and examples, and I'll see you on the next one.